Hey peeps, let's talk about mobile internet and SIM cards in South Korea today. When you move to a different country or even just visit, being connected to the internet is quite important. Not just so you don't get lost or look up a translation or things you don't know, but also for being able to stay in touch with people you meet in your new home, becoming part of the community. Integrate. More and more people have asked me what kind of SIM card I bought when I moved to South Korea and where I got it. Before I even started packing, I researched a lot online because my friends in Korea couldn't really help me because they didn't know how it was for foreigners. But most of the websites are obviously in Korean, and even when I sent them the links to quickly read it over for me, there was no information regarding foreign customers. The cheapest option is probably when you get a monthly plan or something, and then a lot of people also use Wi-Fi X or portable Wi-Fi instead of a SIM card for data. But to get a monthly plan or sign a contract for one, you need to have an alien registration card, which is an ID card for foreigners staying in Korea. But you don't have that yet when you just moved there. I found some options on Tracy.com though. There are a lot of options for short terms, so more suitable for just traveling, but also one that you can extend once you have your alien registration card. As you can see though, you pay per 1 minute of call, per text message, and per 1 megabyte of data. That's why I decided to not get this one and find out more once I got to Korea. When I got to Daegu, I checked out different stores from different providers. Sometimes I went with Korean friends and sometimes I went on my own. But the options they presented me with didn't really seem cheaper to me. But again, I didn't have my ARC yet. When you move to Korea by yourself, one of the first things you should do is apply for your ARC because it's gonna take a little while until you get it. It's probably not gonna take as long as for me as an exchange student because the international office of Keimyung University supplied us with the application form and collected that and the fee plus all of our passports, and then made an appointment for all of the international students to go together. And that took a while, first to wait for nearly 200 people to hand in their documents and then to send them there and get an appointment for such a big group. So it might even be quicker and easier if you just go by yourself in the beginning. Long story short, the semester started in September and I didn't get my ARC until late October, and by then I had already got myself this 90 days prepaid SIM card from the Tracy site when I visited Seoul in October, because I was just annoyed that it seemed so hard to get anything that wasn't crazy expensive. I assume though that in Seoul there's a lot more options for foreigners available and there's a lot more stores where people speak English. This 90 day SIM card isn't really that cheap, but in retrospective I wish I would have just gotten that right away. I ended up buying this exact same one, and there were so many times where not being connected to the internet at all times really sucked. I couldn't get in touch with friends who I was supposed to meet sometimes and couldn't meet them in the end. Or one time I was hiking a mountain during the Chuseok holidays and then climbed down the other side of the mountain and I basically had no idea how to get home. I mean, it's possible, but it took more than 2 hours. It's just little everyday things that are a lot easier when you have internet connection at all times. After 90 days I was still using the SIM card. It wasn't that cheap, but if you don't use it to watch videos, send pictures, or download stuff, but just use it for instant messaging, maps, Instagram, and maybe Pokemon Go, you should be fine. So by the time the 90 days had passed, I had already moved to Seoul. So I just went down to the office near Hongik Station and paid like 10,000 won or so to extend it. And that office, by the way, is also where I topped up the balance when I needed to. The downside to this card, I got a lot of weird messages in the beginning. Maybe the number belonged to somebody else before, I don't know, and also a lot of promotional text messages. And that was a little annoying. Now you can also get a selection of prepaid SIM cards at some convenience stores like GU, 7-Eleven or GS25. Again, this might be different in Seoul, but the convenience stores around Keimyung campus have a lot of students working there who don't speak English, and even if you ask them if the SIM card will work with your phone or how to activate it, they don't really know. That's why I didn't order that other SIM card in the beginning, because I thought I could always just get a prepaid SIM card at a convenience store. But I didn't understand what was written on them, and the manual on how to activate it and all was in Korean as well. So I wasn't sure if this would work and was kind of scared to get one there. To come to a conclusion, upon first arrival, I would probably get a prepaid SIM card for 30 days or more for the period where everything is still new to you and you don't have your ARC yet. Once you have your ARC and are more comfortable speaking Korean, or have someone who can help you communicate, I would go check out the bigger chains of the main providers like KT, SKT, LDU+, and so on, and see if they have monthly plans for foreigners who stay in Korea permanently. Now let's talk about Wi-Fi. There are a lot of areas or shops with free Wi-Fi, and most accommodations offer free Wi-Fi as well. So worst case scenario, find a coffee shop or something, or a Daiso. Chances are they have free Wi-Fi if you need to get in touch with someone that you're meeting or you need to look up directions. If you stay at an Airbnb, sometimes you can get a portable Wi-Fi for an additional fee, so in that case you wouldn't need to get a prepaid SIM card or rent a pocket Wi-Fi somewhere else for the time you're staying there. If you stay at the dormitories at Keimyung, you have a LAN cable available at each of your desks in your room, but not all notebooks might have a plug for a LAN cable. My roommate's notebook, for instance, did not have one. There were I think 2 Wi-Fi connections available in the building, but they were usually so weak that the connection was basically non-existent. Since I could connect to the internet via the LAN cable with my notebook, I created a personal hotspot that we use for our phones and my roommate to connect her notebook to the internet. This feature is quite buggy on Windows sometimes, but it worked most of the time. Throughout campus, there's Wi-Fi, but again, sometimes it just doesn't work. There is this weird attendance check app that is mandatory in most classes, and if all students in the classroom try to log in at once, it usually doesn't work. The internet at the International Lounge usually work quite good though. Thank you for tuning in today. I hope I could give you an idea on what SIM card you might want to get when you get to South Korea. I will put the link where I got my prepaid SIM card in the description. If you have any further questions, as always, just write a comment. Have a nice day. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe, it would mean a lot to me. And see you in the next one. Bye!